Hey, George.
Hey, Nick.
Sorry to interrupt this episode of Reslayer's Take, but we have to tell the people about ButcherBox.
Oh, yeah. Listen, friends, we only do ads for sponsors we think are great, and ButcherBox is on our good list.
ButcherBox sent us each a customized box of high-quality meat, and they were so freaking good. It's so convenient having a box of incredible meat in your freezer without ever having to step foot in a grocery store.
And the greatest part? This antibiotic-free and humanely raised meat comes with plenty of curated tips and recipes. So whipping up awesome dinners is a cinch.
These prices are impossible to beat for the quality, and where the heck else can you get free protein for a whole dang year? Not the grocery store. So sign up at butcherbox.com/reslayer and get our special deal.
ButcherBox is offering our listeners a free for a year offer plus an additional $20 off. Choose chicken breast, salmon, or ground beef free in every order for a year. Sign up today at butcherbox.com/reslayer and use code RESLAYER to choose your free for a year offer, plus $20 off your first order.
Let's get grilling.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
Welcome to the Reslayer's Take. I'm George Primavera.
And I'm Nick Williams. In this podcast, George and I lead a group of players through an exciting improvised adventure in Exandria, the magical world of Critical Role.
We're playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, but you won't need to know the rules to follow along. All you need to know is that nothing the players do is scripted or planned, and their fates are determined by their own cleverness and the random chance of rolling a 20-sided die.
You can listen to new episodes of the Reslayer's Take every Monday, anywhere you stream podcasts.
Or if you want to listen to the podcast 2 weeks early and uninterrupted by ads, join Beacon at beacon.tv.
Last but certainly not least, if you're enjoying the story, please consider leaving a rating and review. Your feedback might inspire someone new to join this adventure.
Now, without further ado,
welcome to the Reslayer's Take.
Perched at the edge of a cliff, slick with brine from the angry Osmit Sea, on a tiny, craggy island sits the modest hamlet of Shoreside Isle. The hamlet itself is nothing to write home about, just a handful of thatched roof cottages, some sparse shops, and an inn. The only thing that is of any true note is a tall, magnificent lighthouse on the cliffside. Off in the distance, past dark, encroaching storm clouds, the lights of the much larger port town of Shorecombe can be seen. Jutting out of a steep slope towards the cliff's edge on the far side of the town is a salt-worn sessile oak, in the center of which a large green portal is beginning to bloom.
Now all you guys are tied to me so we don't get any more problems with quicksand. Oh jeez, it's a slippery slope!
Timpani Guff, with a rope tied around his waist, which happens to be connected to each of the waists of the rest of the party, tumbles down the slippery slope, dragging the rest of them after him. Farah, Idrin, Hira, Frog, Timpani, and Poogs begin to tumble down the slick cliffside towards the angry-looking water.
Hira takes a piton out of her bag and hastily tries to jam it into the ground.
Make an athletics check.
12.
The piton is unable to stick into the rocky surface. Hira begins to drag it along the rock, only slowing her descent a bit.
Taking inspiration from Hira's quick thinking, Frog pulls the short sword from her side and tries to also stick it into the hill.
Make an attack roll.
23.
The tip of the short sword breaks off, but the rest of the blade slams into the rocky surface, arresting everyone's motion. Frog, make a strength saving throw as everyone's weight tumbles past you towards the ocean.
23.
Everyone jerks to a stop, with Frog holding them in place.
Frog, you're the best.
Wow, thanks. You guys are all pretty happy all together like this.
Timpani tries to dig his hands into the wet rock and grass and pull himself up.
Make an athletics check with advantage as Frog provides an anchor.
16.
Timpani finds himself some footing, taking a little bit of the pressure off of Frog, and begins to clamber up, using the group support.
Farah looks around to see if there's anything to hold on to, particularly roots of a tree.
Make a survival check as you dangle from the waist.
16.
There happens to be the edge of a root dangling just a few feet away from you.
Farah tugs on it to check the safety before grabbing hold.
The root holds strong.
Farah grabs hold to alleviate the weight that Frog is holding.
Hira takes a crowbar out of her bag and, using it unceremoniously like a climbing pick, begins to make her way up towards the tree.
Make an athletics check with advantage.
16.
With the crowbar's assistance, Hira begins making her way effectively up the cliffside. Poogs also begins to clamber up the rope.
All right. Thanks, Frog.
Hey, anytime. I mean, I guess I hope this doesn't happen again, but in case it does, anytime.
Appreciate it. Timpani?
Timpani engulfs Poog's tiny hand in his and yanks him up to a standing position. Get up here.
All right, on 3. 1, 2. Hira pulls the rope.
Idrin, Frog, and Farah make athletics checks with advantage.
20.
10.
19.
3 successes.
Timpani, I would just say, the next time that you send us through one of these cool tree portals, that you find a tree that isn't so precarious?
Yeah, sorry about that. Last time I was here was about 100 years ago, and, erosion. As Timpani gets everybody to their feet and collects them at the top of the hill, he says, "So the message that we got from that seagull, it's from an old pal of mine, Deuteronomus. He's been looking out for the people of this here island for the better part of the last century. Message spoke of a terrible fate befallen the people of this town, and that ghosts haunt every ripple of the tides. So that sounds pretty bad."
Yikes.
Yeah, every ripple of the tides. Yikes.
That's a lot of ripples.
Big yikes.
Farah takes off her newly acquired glasses and wipes them on her jacket. She puts them back on and glares at Timpani and Poogs as they continue talking about the ripples and ghosts.
Hira adjusts the poncho she's borrowed once again from Frog, possessing no winter clothing of her own. She's readjusted it to be more of a shawl than a poncho and pulls it up as a makeshift hood over her horns.
Well, then I suppose we've gotten here in time.
Idrin adjusts his new hooded cloak, with fur adorning the top, almost the color of charcoal like his hair. On his shoulder sits his hawk, nesting comfortably.
Frog straightens up and wipes at her pants, wearing a brand new poncho after giving away her old one. She opens her journal and writes down what she thinks erosion might mean.
Frog, make a history check.
15.
Yes. Oh, yes, right. The wearing down of sediment and rock, sometimes slanting down a hill like the one that we were just on. Okay.
Poogs kicks a little bit of the mud off of his new shoes, which have 4-inch lifts in them.
Ah, man, I just got these things.
Timpani is still wearing his dirty patchwork barn coat and his billowy khaki pants equally torn.
Though it is evening, as the party looks up, they see storm clouds gathering in towering formations above their heads. The rain is ice cold, soaking everyone's new clothing. A rumble of thunder in the distance. As the Reslayers begin to move down the hillside, they look out onto the town of Shoreside Isle. Nobody moves along the single small street that connects these homes, and the lighthouse looms above it all, dark.
All right, gang. Let's head in and try to find my old friend Duty.
Duty?
What?
Yeah, Deuteronomus. Duty.
Why not just, dude?
Well, because it's duty. I don't... what are we talking about here?
Don't you find that maybe this word has some other connotations?
What could that mean, Hira?
Hira turns to Farah, hoping for some support.
Hey, you guys are thinking too much about it. Let's just go. Don't mention that when you see him.
The party begins to descend into the town. As they walk on the water-soaked cobblestone street, there's a man that rounds the corner, wearing rather light garb for how cold and rainy the weather is becoming. His hair is completely sopping wet. As you move past this man on the path, he flashes you a large smile
Heck of a storm we're having.
and continues past you.
Farah analyzes the man, wondering why he's so happy with the rain.
Roll an insight check.
9.
The interaction is too quick to be able to discern anything interesting, but it is odd that the man is so scantily clad given the weather.
Kira grumbles out loud.
I cannot stand when people are like, is it hot enough for you? Like, yes, I'm standing in it. I can tell that it is hot. It just makes me so angry.
Yeah, that was a weird interaction.
And he doesn't seem too scared about the ghost that is living in the tides?
Maybe the seagull was wrong.
Yeah, that's true. Seagulls are notorious liars.
Farah tries to recall whether or not she's encountered any ghosts that can manipulate mood or energy.
Make a history check.
13. I don't know, maybe this is too out there, but there are ghosts that possess people, I just feel like there's nothing really to be happy about with this weather.
Kira looks down at her weapon.
Your weapon remains inert.
I think we're good.
Kira says, gesturing to her deactivated rapier handle.
But Farah, that's good to know about.
The lighthouse grows ever closer as you approach. Timpani takes the lead, walking a bit ahead of you, but before he can reach the door, it opens.
Before you, you see a elven man with ears not quite as pointed as some elves you might have met. His appearance is roughly no older than his early 40s. Some of the tells of his age to someone who would have met him before are that he has a few wrinkles around his eyes and lips, and his once rich auburn hair has begun to gray at the root. His beard, close-cropped and adorned with a mustache that curls up and stands at points, forming a sort of second smile, has also begun to gray slightly. He wears a set of robes that flow behind him, sweeping the shore floor as he glides through space. The robes are beautifully dyed in oranges and pinks and reds, an ombre sunset in motion, a clear contrast to the stormy weather. Though time has aged the robes, the wear and tear has only added to their beauty. He wears a single pink leather glove on his right hand that matches pointed pink slippers that poke out occasionally from beneath his robes. Hello, friends. You must be careful in this sort of weather. The cliffside, erosion, you know.
That's exactly what I said. What is happening, Duty, my man? Long time no see.
Yes, long time no see. How long?
I mean, time flies. It's got maybe 86 years?
86 years? Wow. And you know me.
Timpani turns to the rest of the group. This always happens with Duty. He's a real forgetful guy. Hey, Timpani Guff, remember? I've aged a little bit. I put on a couple pounds, maybe 20 or 30, but you remember me. We used to, back in school days.
And do I know the rest of you? Do I know them?
No, they're new.
No, they're new. School, Timmy! Timmy! Oh, God, it's you! What are you doing here? What brings you to Shoresight Isle?
Well, you sent me that seagull. I think his name was Craig.
No, hold on. I don't think I would have sent a seagull. Seagulls are notorious liars.
Well, they are, but this one seemed trustworthy, and he mentioned you by name and said that you sent them with the message about ghosts that haunt every ripple of the tides.
A ghost? Deuteronomist. Timpani. Yes, I did send Craig. He is a liar, but he owed me a favor. It is not safe here for any of you. Wow. Who are all of you?
Duty, meet the Reslayer's Take.
Now, hold on. The Reslayer's Take?
Yeah, we're kind of sort of doing a thing. Remember, last time we hung out, I was a member at the Slayer's Stake, and then I'm not a member at Slayer's Stake anymore, but we're doing a thing where we're fighting ghosties and we're reslaying the ghost. You get it.
Are you married to that name?
Yes.
Reslayer's Take, right. What was your name?
Farah, and no, we are not married to that name.
Oh, great. Farah, okay.
Hira, and no, I also am not fond of the name.
Hira. Do I roll the R's? Well, Hira.
If you can. It's Marquesian.
Oh, Marquesian. I haven't been to Marquette in quite a while.
Neither have I.
Idrin, the name's kind of grown on me, personally.
Idrin. It is a beautiful name.
I meant the Reslayer's take, but thank you.
Oh, perhaps it will grow on me.
Hi, I'm Frog.
Frog offers her hand in a fist bump motion.
Deuteronomus, make an investigation check.
20.
Deuteronomus stops for a moment, focusing on Frog's crystalline blue eyes, realizing that Frog is made of mechanical parts.
Are you a construct?
I'm kind of like muddy on the details. I just woke up like a year ago approximately, and I know my body is really old, but my mind is blank. Sorry, that was a lot.
No. I cannot express to you how much I understand what you're saying. I've never heard a construct speak with such eloquence and sentience.
Yeah, the sentience, I think, makes me not so much of a construct. It's maybe something else?
Very interesting.
This reunion is disturbed by another fellow, once again, sopping wet, gesturing to all of you,
Heck of a storm we're having.
and continues on his way.
Hira's eyes narrow to points, and she just shakes her head and says,
No, no. This, no, I don't, no, no.
Idrin tries to see if the way the man spoke was different than what his eyes were expressing.
Roll an insight check.
8.
It's too dark and gloomy to have gotten a good look. All you saw was a large smile, a friendly wave, and a jovial walk away.
Anyone paying attention to Deuteronomus as this stranger approaches will notice that the friendly glint in his eye as he's speaking to the Reslayer's take dims a little, and he retreats into his mind, muttering, "What a storm, lovely storm we're having, crazy storm we're having, storm."
Farah turns to Deuteronomus and gives him a glance up and down.
Make an insight check.
21.
When you stare at Deuteronomus, he appears shaken and paranoid, his eyes flitting around as if unsure of what to focus on.
We should get out of the storm, Timmy. There's an inn, the Honeycomb Inn, just down the road there. We should make our way there. Just over here. Come now.
Heading down the street, approaching the Honeycomb Inn, Deuteronomus gets out in front and pushes open the door to the tavern. Everybody roll a perception check.
9.
7.
11.
21.
Frog, you notice that the sound of patrons talking seems to suddenly begin, as if nothing was happening in the room a moment before. The warm light from the lanterns casts a cozy glow over the room, but as you look around, you notice the patrons with their wide grins and overly enthusiastic greetings of,
Heck of a storm we're having.
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 seem much too friendly. Deuteronomus pushes past them, waving off the big-grinned bartender to the darkest corner of the room, and motions for you all to join him.
As Hira joins him, she uses her eye for detail to scan the room.
Roll an investigation check.
14.
Hira takes a look over at the bartender and notices that he is filling up glasses one after the other, gathering them on the counter, and nobody is coming up to grab them.
Marionette?
Farah's mind starts working in overdrive. If these aren't spectral beings, could they be anything else?
Roll a history check.
8.
Farah is at a loss. Your weapon remains deactivated.
Farah, overwhelmed by how creepy everything is, just shakes her head at Hira.
All right now, please come in. I would prefer no one else hear this. You know, this island, Shoreside Isle, it used to be full of some of the crankiest loners this side of Taldore. Outcasts, criminals, society's leftovers. But over the last month, more and more of them return from the cliffs every night, pleasant and all smiles. When it became more smiles than frowns, that's when I knew something was afoot. And ever since that night, I have been seeing it. In the corner of my eye, or the space between buildings, or in the reflection of a puddle. It wants to take me, Timmy. It wants to take me. I know it does. But I won't allow those glowing red eyes to penetrate. I won't. So I got to researching in my library, and it turns out around 50 or 60 years ago, the Slayers came here on a contract and discovered something deeply, deeply horrifying in the depths below the island.
The story is interrupted by something wet hitting the party's feet. As they look down, they see it's a puddle of ale. And as they follow it, they see that the bartender is frozen, overfilling a pint from a cask, still smiling. His head turns towards the party, and all the patrons in unison stand. Everyone's weapons activate. Everybody make a perception check.
18.
Nat 20.
16.
10.
Farah, Idrin, and Frog, as you look down in the puddle of ale, something else besides the villagers shifts. A long, inky black tentacle settled on each of their shoulders.
Timpani stands up and backs up into the corner. Whatever happens, don't hurt them too much. There's still people in there somewhere.
They have families and lives. Please be careful.
And the villagers lunge forward.
And now for a brief intermission.
Creating really great retail experiences is tough, especially with multiple stores, teams of staff, fulfillment centers, separate workflows. It's a lot. But with Shopify Point of Sale, you can do it all without complexity.
Shopify's point of sale system is a unified command center for your retail business. It brings together in-store and online operations even across 1,000 locations.
Imagine being able to guarantee that shopping is always convenient. Endless aisles, ship to customer, buy online, pick up in stores, all made simpler so customers can shop how and where they want and staff have the tools they need to close the sale every time.
And let's face it, acquiring new customers is expensive. With Shopify POS, you can keep existing shoppers coming back to your stores with consistent, tailored experiences and first-party data that give marketing teams a competitive edge.
Want more?
Yeah!
Check it out at shopify.com/r/ all lowercase and learn how to create the best retail experiences without complexity.
That's shopify.com/r/.
Cha-ching!
With the planning, recording, and editing that go into the Reslayer's Take, Nick and I aren't left with a lot of time for exercise.
Luckily, our sponsor, Tonal, has helped us use the time we actually have to create personalized workouts just for us. Tonal learns from your movement and provides suggested weight recommendations for every move, and they even give you detailed reports on your progress.
They create personalized programs and workout suggestions based on your individual goals. Like me, I want the rogue-like agility to backflip over dungeon traps.
And I want the berserker strength to hold a heavy door up for my friends so they can escape the undead hordes thanks to my heroic sacrifice. With Tonal, you can do it all. It's like having a personal trainer at home with you.
Unlike traditional gym equipment, Tonal uses adaptive digital weight to advance your training techniques.
Whether you're a professional athlete or a cake-loving dungeon master like us, Tonal can be trusted to help you become your strongest, most fit self.
Right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code RESLAYER. That's Tonal.com and use promo code RESLAYER for $200 off your purchase.
Tonal.com, promo code RESLAYER for $200 off.
Let's roll those athletics checks.
I'm Nick Friedman.
I'm Lee Alec Murray.
And I'm Leah President. And this is Crunchyroll Presents The Anime Effect.
We are a new show breaking down the anime news, views, and shows you care about each and every week.
I can't think of a better studio to bring something like this to life. And
I agree. We're covering all the classics.
if I don't know a lot about Godzilla, which I do, but I'm trying to pretend that I don't right now.
Hold it in. And our current faves. Luffy must have his due.
Tune in every week for the latest anime updates and possibly a few debates.
Oof.
I remember, what was that?
Say what you're going to say and I'll circle back.
You can listen to Crunchyroll Presents The Anime Effect every Friday wherever you get your podcasts. And watch full video episodes on Crunchyroll or the Crunchyroll YouTube channel.
Now back to the show.
Frog looks to the nearest villager in front of her and cautiously steps out to take a strike against them. She channels her ki, hoping to stun the villager.
Roll an attack.
21.
Hit. Roll damage.
Frog pulls her punch, hoping to inflict minimal damage.
This villager only takes 1 point of damage, but a nerve is struck. And this man, who lunges towards Frog, feels his muscles seize as he freezes. But he continues to grunt, as if adrenaline is ripping through his body.
Frog attempts to do the same thing to another villager. 23.
As Frog pulls her punch, this second villager shifts to the side, making it only a glancing blow, and does not stop coming.
Darn it! Hey, stop it!
Frog anxiously yells towards the villagers.
Whoa. Hey, put me down! Put me down!
Several of the villagers have lifted Poogs and begin to take him away towards the back of the barn.
Timpani!
Deuteronomus pushes his robes back and he dexterously pulls out a crimson wand made of dragon bone, the handle of which is gilded. Oh, it doesn't seem to be working. Frog, very good. Maybe identify them. Those two there are brothers, Pilar and Vilar. Call them by name.
Idrin holds the moon on the back of his hand and whispers in Elvish, "Slumber," as he casts sleep.
The sleep spell automatically fails. Idrin, make an Arcana check.
22.
When the magic spreads out from the center of the room, little magical motes rest on these folks and then curdle and disappear, as if something is making them immune to the sleep effect.
Seeing his magic fail him, Idrin desperately charges after Poogs.
Leave my friend alone, Idrin!
Poogs tries to struggle against his captors. Still slippery from the rain, he squeezes out of one of their grasps and jumps into Idrin's arms.
I've got you, my friend.
All right, I'm gonna try something else. Farrah looks into the puddle, seeing where these tentacles have positioned themselves relative to their possessed villager. She pivots to aim her spectral crossbow at an empty space where the tentacles might be, making sure no one's behind it.
Roll an attack with disadvantage.
8.
The spectral bolt passes over one of their shoulders, but there is no reaction. That is a miss.
Farrah fires again. 13.
And the bolt sticks into something over their shoulder, freezing in the middle of the air, and that red spectral tracking gas begins to spill out of the invisible space. Roll damage.
10.
The woman that the spectral bolt has frozen above suddenly goes limp, her eyes rolling into the back of her head. She pitches forward and falls to the ground, still breathing but unconscious.
Seeing Farrah's tracking gas doing its work, Hira tries to strike true with her glinting rapier.
Roll an attack.
21.
Hit. Roll damage.
20.
With a deft slash from Hira's rapier, another villager pitches forward, unconscious. Hira, you feel a little bit of resistance as your blade passes through the air.
Hira points her rapier towards the ceiling and misty steps to one of the beams.
The remaining 6 villagers, with fists wildly flailing, begin to attack the party, though one of them is unable to raise their fists, still shaking off the stunning effect. Vilar's forearm crashes into Frog's metal skull, dealing 5 damage, bringing her down to 38 points of health. 2 more of the villagers come for Idrin, still holding Poogs. Idrin takes a total of 6 bludgeoning damage, bringing him down to 26 points of health. Another villager rushes to take Farrah down to the ground. Farah, make an acrobatics or an athletics check.
13.
Farah finds some support on a nearby table and does not let herself get knocked prone. And the bartender, from behind the bar, picks up a glass filled with ale and throws it at Hira in the rafters above. But the glass shatters on the beam, spraying the rest of the party with ale.
Timpani rushes up to Frog and from out of his pants pulls a large, beautiful plumed feather and sticks it in her poncho collar, casting Enhance ability on her with Eagle's Splendor, giving her advantage on charisma checks and 6 temporary hit points, and says, pointing at another villager, "Frog, quick! That guy has paint on his hands. Remind them of his art."
Thanks for the beautiful feather, Timpani. I'll give it a try.
Frog dashes towards the villager with paint on their hands.
Though Pilar, the villager, is stunned, Vilar is not and takes an opportunity attack at you as you move to the villager covered in paint. Though the wild swing misses Frog as she ducks under.
Frog launches herself onto the painter and tries to grapple him.
Roll an athletics check.
17.
Frog wraps him up tight.
Hey there, my friend. It seems like you have a passion and a love for the art of painting. And I think if you were to just remember who you were and what you love, that maybe you can shuffle off the coil of this evil ghost. Remember who you are, please.
Make a persuasion check, with advantage thanks to your enhanced abilities.
16.
With a gasp, a whisper comes from the man's lips.
My watercolors.
His eyes roll into the back of his head, and he drops unconscious to the floor.
There, sir. Dream in pastels.
This doesn't seem to be working. Oh! Deuteronomus cast light on Idrin's fighting fists. Perhaps this will distract them. The one in front of you, Idrin. He has a daughter. Her name is Persephone.
Oh, so I'll just remind him of his daughter while I punch him in the face?
Maybe before.
Idrin takes the light on his hand, granted to him by his new associate, Duty, and waves the light in front of this stranger.
Think of your daughter. Think of Persephone.
Roll a persuasion check.
14.
My daughter? My Persephone? Oh.
The man's eyes roll up, and he drops. Poogs, seeing the bartender hurl a glass at Hira,
Hey, stay away from my friends!
he picks up a goblet and hurls it at the bartender. The goblet slams into the bartender's head, dealing him 2 points of damage.
Great shot.
But after shaking his head, he begins to pick up more glasses, still ready to throw them at the party.
Oh, come on!
Farah aims at the tentacle that is controlling the bartender.
Roll an attack without disadvantage. As your smoke begins to fill the bar, the shapes of these tentacles become much more obvious.
12.
Hit, roll damage.
6.
Your bolt sticks in place, exuding more gas, but the bartender still moves towards one of the glasses to pick it up and throw it.
Farah shoots again. 7.
The bartender, in mid-lunge, ducks this spectral bolt.
Seeing Deuteronomus's method, Hira uses her eye for detail to try to spot any memorabilia that the bartender keeps behind the bar.
Roll an investigation check.
24.
Over the bartender's shoulder, you see a painting of him holding a teeny tiny lapdog. The name on the collar reads Macchiato.
Using thaumaturgy to make her voice 3 times as loud, Hira, still sitting amongst the rafters, says to the bartender,
Think of macchiato. So cute, so small.
Roll a persuasion check with advantage.
20.
Just about to hurl another glass at Hira, the bartender freezes.
Macchiato? Sweetie? Where are you?
He goes limp, slams his head on the bar, and drops behind it, splashing in the ale. Pilar shakes off his stunned condition, and he and his brother Vilar move to take Frog down to the ground. Frog, make an acrobatics or athletics check.
10.
Frog gets brought down.
Whoa!
Vilar picks up a chair and slams it over Frog's metal body. Frog takes another 5 bludgeoning damage, Timpani's magical aura flickering but still staying intact. 5 of Frog's 6 temporary hit points are expended.
No! Oh, not the furniture!
The last villager goes to a nearby table, picks up a ceramic plate, and tries to smash it over Farah's head. But Farah leans back on the table at her back, and the plate passes over her head.
Timpani puts his hand on Idrin's shoulder and points at the villager with the dish. That lady's got a real cool head. Compliment her fashion style. And casts guidance on him.
Frog, from underneath Pilar and Vilar, shouts out,
Hey! You two are brothers, right? Look into each other's eyes and remember who you are to each other.
Roll a persuasion check.
13.
Pilar and Vilar, for a moment, exchange a glance, and Vilar hands Pilar a chair. They both still seem intent on smashing them over your body.
Her plea having failed, Frog tries her best to disengage from Vilar and Pilar's assault.
Frog reaches her feet and moves away.
Pilar, your mother will be very disappointed in you. A wisp of light spills from Deuteronomus's wand and takes the shape of Vilar and Pilar's mother, Bernice, looking very disappointed and wagging her finger as Deuteronomus casts Minor Illusion.
Vilar and Pilar, faced with the illusion of their mother, freeze for a moment and lunge towards Duty, bursting through the illusion, holding chairs.
Bernice told me she was very sorry she named you so similarly.
Idrin charges towards the figure with the hat and slams into her, wrapping his arms around her.
Your style is impeccable. I'm very jealous. Remember yourself.
Roll a persuasion check and add your bonus from guidance.
24.
The woman freezes, just about to take a knife to Farah,
You really like my hat? See, I knew I could pull it off.
and she drops to the ground, though Idrin eases her fall.
Phew.
Vilar and Pilar, still charging towards Duty, freeze for a moment as a glass shatters over Vilar's head.
Hey!
Vilar turns and charges Poogs, who has just thrown a glass.
Wait. Farah takes aim at the spectral tentacle that is controlling Vilar.
Roll an attack, the shape of it becoming slightly more obvious in the gas.
7.
A miss.
She shoots again. 14.
This one makes its mark. Roll damage.
5.
The bolt sticks into place. Vilar twitches for a moment, but still stays upright, still moving towards Poogs.
Farah groans, not wanting to have to talk to these people. Your mom's real disappointed in you for being so weak and possessed by a ghost.
Roll a persuasion check.
22.
Having struck a severe nerve with Vilar, he turns around.
What did you say about my mother?
And slams to the ground, unconscious.
Weak.
There is only one remaining villager, Pilar, looking around frantically, wielding a chair.
Seeing the chair about to come down on Deuteronomus's head, Hera acts quickly, making an improvised sling from one of the pieces of fabric hanging from her horn. Loading a ball bearing into it, she takes aim.
Roll an attack.
18.
The ball bearing thunks into Pilar's head.
19 non-lethal bludgeoning damage.
The ball bearing is perfectly on target. Pilar wavers for a moment and collapses in the chair he was holding before keeling off to the side and slamming into the ale puddle. And all is quiet.
Not as young as I used to be, eh, Timmy?
I know that's right. Hoy.
All of the unconscious villagers breathe heavily, their eyelids flickering, muttering subconsciously under their breath.
Hera leans down to listen to what they're saying.
You lean down next to the bartender's face and hear him whispering,
Macchiato. Come here, girl. Come on. Come on, baby.
all of them whispering about the things they've been reminded of, except for Pilar, who is very fully unconscious. A lump blossoms on the front of his head.
Farah goes to listen to Vilar.
Sorry, Mum. Don't be disappointed in me.
Farah smirks.
Frog glances down towards the spilled ale on the floor, checking to see if the shadowy figures are still there.
Make a perception check.
12.
The reflections seem to be less clear than they were previously, the ale seeping into the dark wood of the floor. But while you peer, deeper into it, something lights up in the reflection. You look up to see if something might be reflecting in the ale, but no, you only see it in the reflection. A pinprick of red light. This red light begins to grow brighter and separates into 3 pinpricks of red light. Something is moving upward in the reflection, a dark shape getting larger and larger. You suddenly make out a swirling of sharp teeth, tentacles flapping behind it. Make a wisdom saving throw.
9.
As this malevolent shape shoots towards you upwards, seeming like it's going to breach the surface, a high-pitched ring pierces your brain. You take 14 points of psychic damage. Something wraps around your body that you cannot see. Make a strength saving throw.
11.
And Frog suddenly disappears up to her chest, down into the puddle. Something is pulling you hard.
Farah looks around for the wisp that is tracking the spectral being.
The thickly gathered gas is swarming around the bar, and no shapes become apparent.
Timpani dives towards Frog, wrapping his arms underneath hers. I got you!
What is that? Where are... Oh, Timmy! Deuteronomus cast Unseen Servant, and a unseen force will latch on to Timmy and help him secure Frog and try and pull them out of the puddle.
Timpani feels a little bit more support from behind, but Frog, struggling, begins to disappear even further into the puddle.
Help me!
Timpani, make an athletics check.
19.
Timpani begins to pull Frog out of the ale.
Come on, Frog, I gotcha!
Frog, make another wisdom saving throw.
4.
Frog takes another 16 points of psychic damage as this thing refuses to let her go. She is brought down to 9 points of health.
Everyone help! Grab onto me and Timmy!
Shaking off her disbelief, Hera heeds Deuteronomus's instructions and throws her weight behind his.
Farah racks her brain trying to see if she's seen something like this before.
Roll a history check.
24. It's a reflection ghost! Farah grabs a rope from her pack, hands one end to Frog, grabs onto the other, and tugs, trying to find another point of anchor.
Oh, thank you!
Idrin falls backwards, and he sends out his familiar into the puddle itself to try and bite at this tendril inside this mirror dimension.
The familiar dives down into the puddle and slams up against the wooden floor.
Idrin's hawk shakes their head as Idrin himself is dazed.
Everyone grabbing Frog, make an athletics check.
9.
3.
12.
14.
Frog, make a strength saving throw with advantage.
15.
And Frog is freed, slamming up onto the wooden floor, the ale splashing to the sides. A quick look into the puddle reveals nothing is there.
Farah grabs a couple rags from the counter and covers all the reflections on the floor.
The ale, sopping up into the rags, gets rid of the reflective surfaces.
It had so many teeth and so many tentacles and 3 red eyes.
You should draw that in your journal next to your erosion and your bicycle.
Hera, that's such a great idea!
And Frog hurriedly pulls her journal out and scribbles it down.
Did you say teeth? Lots of teeth?
A lot.
And red eyes, glowing eyes, 3 of them?
3 of them.
Oh, no. We have to get out of here right now. Follow me to the lighthouse. To the lighthouse, Timmy. Let's go.
Deuteronomus explodes out the door, Timpani behind.
Eyes forward, theme. Don't look at any wet stuff anymore.
Poogs follows.
Come on, guys, let's get out of here.
Farah takes her glasses off before following.
Frog pulls the hood of her poncho tightly over her head.
Hera tears out of the inn after them.
Idrin trails behind.
Idrin's hawk lands on his shoulder.
That was on me. Whew.
The storm outside is intensifying. Lightning streaks through the clouds, thunder rumbling very loudly.
Follow the lights. If it gets hard to see, follow the lights. Deuteronomus cast dancing lights.
3 swirling lights illuminate the pathway towards the lighthouse. Deuteronomus reaches the door, fiddling with the key.
This one.
And the door opens, leading into the dark lighthouse main floor inside.
Okay, what do we do now, Duty?
It's dark in here. Can we get a light on?
Sure. One moment. Deuteronomus casts light.
The oozing walls of the chamber are illuminated, and Duty's face is stricken with shock.
Oh no. Oh no, this isn't my house! This isn't my house!
Deuteronomus's head drops. He seems to go limp for a moment, and then his head lifts, his eyes glowing red, and a third opening up on his forehead.
It's mine.
The Reslayer's Take is a Metapigeon production in partnership with and distributed by Critical Role Productions, developed in association with Hero Club. Game mastered and produced by George Primavera and Nick Williams. Featuring Nick Williams as Timpani Guff, George Primavera as Poogs, Jasmine Bhullar as Hira Agnihart, Jasmine Chiong as Farah, Jasper Cartwright as Edrin Shadowstep, and Caroline Lux as Frog. With special guest Christian Navarro as Deuteronomus. Also featuring Gabe Greenspan, John Madison, Hannah Fagerbaki, Ryan Bowers, Jackie Emerson, Natasha Mercado, Chuck McCullum, and Dylan McCullum as the Shoreside Isle villagers. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.